The deputy registrar at FUTA. I'm married. I was married. I'm married. Elections in Nigeria are not what they are in the West. I won't compare it with the East. Elections in Nigeria are principally butter and bread situation, do or die situation. But in 1992, when Babangida was preparing to leave the throne, two parties were formed by default, Republican and SDP. Two friends were presidential candidates for the two parties, Tufa and A.W.O. Both were Muslims. A.W.O. from Ogun State, Tufa from Kano. In my personal opinion, it should appear to me that principalities in the army, in the armed forces, supported MKO, A.W.O.'s party. That election was never, the result was never declared. But so much of it had been declared that people readily assumed that the SDP won. But I told you that those parties were formed by default. I read government. I finished from maybe 1976. So I know what it means to form parties and party politicking. That's why I say they were formed by default. That was why it ended the way it ended. One man does not sit in his house and say he has formed parties. Just like another person did, his successor did, which late Ige, Barrister Ige said, 5 leprous fingers. When Abacha formed 5 parties, like Babangida formed 2 parties, it doesn't work. That was why each of the attempts ended the way they ended. But the people of those years felt that A.W.O. won. From the literature and story we have read, it was also clear to us that A.W.O. and Babangida were close friends. Close friends, so we read. But we are also told from what we read too, that his hands were truly tied, that if he had declared A.W.O. the winner, what we read say that there would have been bloodbath. People who didn't want A.W.O. to be president were more than in the army than those who wanted to be. And Babangida didn't want to fall prey, victim, to that small group, powerful group. I'm saying what I read in papers. I don't have access to the papers now. They were daily journals and magazines. And these things filtered out, I suppose, and the students caught what filtered out, that somebody called MK A.W.O. won. That was the genesis of the June 12 saga. From what we read, I was never present in anywhere. I was a public servant. But I'm just telling you what I read and knowledge. Yes. some of our students, like other students in other tertiary institutions in the country, were in the vanguard of the protest. It's their life. The youth always have more energy to dissipate in times like that. I don't remember their names now because I didn't want to be involved in their situation. All I wanted was to assist them out of the detention. Then I was deputy registrar as well as the student affairs officer at that time in Futa. So the onus was mine, both as an officer and as my schedule, and as a father, and as a Christian, to see what we can do for them to be released. I liaised with the registrar. I was next to him at that time. And with the late with the VC, they are both late now. Lembabade as VC and B. Adebayo as registrar. So I drove to SIB somewhere behind OSRC governor's house, somewhere on this side. Yes, no, before that. There's a place called Mooring. There's a place called Mooring. Yes. You climb that hill. Yeah, yes. That's a private, secured place. Not SIB. What was it called? But that's a terrible place to go.
Is it not DSS office?
Maybe, whatever it is
DSS
called.
Office, like I go to the government house.
Yes, to the right. It's a place we should not go to. It's worse than a hospital.
Yes.
That time we didn't have this phone that we're carrying about now. But we made a contact with them by landline that I was going to come. I was the student affairs officer. So I got there now. Since I came there as an officer of the university, whoever was the policeman or soldier that was there, gave me my due respect. We spoke. I can't remember who the person was now, but an officer of the place. And whatever happened, somebody gave me my due. And I recall that they said, since the university was interested, they were going to release them, but they will be on the watch. Every protest in any country is usually an affair of the youth, because they are the ones that feel it more. The NSAS thing is still very fresh in their memory. Most of them were youths. Whether they understood or not what was being fought for, they were there in the vanguard. That was the same thing that these young people did in Futa and other places in the country. I only played the role as the student affairs officer to go and speak to the security people, and they were eventually released. Then and after, he became an advisor to the immediate past governor.
He was, I think he even served with Agagu.
Oh, yes, Agagu, yes, both of them. Yes. All he wanted was justice. He was seeking to protect the future of the youth of the country. Yes, I remember him very well. I can see his face now, very fair. He wanted justice, he wanted fairness, he wanted security for the future of the youth of the country. As a matter of fact, this was what all of them will say to you. We want our future secured. That's what they will tell you. They were not necessarily involved in cultism. They were not the people who we thought. They were ready to do it without violence. But you see, out there in the streets of any kind, the cities of the country, are miscreants. Men and women, youths who are hungry, who are angry, who are provoked, who are irritated by what is going on. They don't have enough to eat or to dress. So when there is a peaceful protest, that is what the government fears the most, that these characters who are going to hijack the peaceful process. Even today, that the government, that the NSC, they want to go on, it is the fear of the miscreants that should be no protest. In civilized countries, what they do, the security, several of them, plainclothes and uniform people, mingle with the protesters. So that if there's any one that is violent, he can easily be singled out. You don't, in civilized countries, you don't set out the police against them. No. Even the government knows that what the people are protesting about is not untrue any time in the past. Even the police that are out there, even the soldiers that are out there, the protesters are protesting for their sake, for the sake of their children, the future. I'm 75 almost now, so there's nothing I'm rushing for. But we should know that it is more civilized to ask the police or the soldiers or the whatever, yes, to follow people protesting. Don't raise your arms. Don't shoot. The young people they're not armed. That was what infuriated people in the NSAS thing. The people are not armed, so why are you shooting? Government is advised, let the police escort them. You won't see them entering into any house or shop to break anything. That's not civilized either. But you see them marching through the street, carrying placards.
Let people know awareness.
Yeah, that's all these people are doing. So, my suggestion, let government be civilized. If you have been abroad, I have been, they have been, well, these things happen. It's not strange, it's not an aberration. Are you listening to me? It's not an aberration. That is what makes democracy tick. When you allow opposition to make their voice known. Such thing is meant to assist you have a feel of what the grassroots is, not what your ministers or prime secretaries are telling you. Always tell you the truth. But when you hear that people are on the streets, listen to them. Don't send policemen to kill them. Listen to the poor people, students. They are your cousins and your relations. What are they saying that you don't already know? No, I read many things that the president says in the papers. Tells us he's feeling our pain. He understands our situation. He even set up an economic advisory committee. Yesterday, Monday.
Yes.
That is to say, he is responding to what the people are saying. And that's the correct thing to do. You should respond.
The yearnings of
the people. If you kill them, over whom will you rule? We are the one you are ruling upon. So allow us to speak to you. We don't have access to your office. So let the young men speak to you. And you just hear them. If they want to come to Aso Rock, open the gate for them. That's what they do abroad. Open the gates for them. Okay? Let them have your leadership. Not in camera. So that the people will not say they have been sold out. So the multitude of the people stay in a place where they can see their representative negotiating with you. That will build confidence in the students, in the protesters. Don't send gun people after human beings. They elected you willy-nilly. So if you kill them today, would they be there to the next tomorrow to vote for you? So that's what we did in my time. And what it was, it is still persistent. Last year, when they had the election, if they didn't allow some degree of secrecy, if they were open, people would have seen and known what they're not telling us. But I read of recent that indeed this election was a true reflection of the people's opinion of. If they have let whatever they did now open in 2023, maybe we will not be in this shock situation. Believe me, Sheung, everybody knows that the hardness that we are passing through now was not created by Bola Tinubu now. What was planted, don't germinate now. In 2014, Naira was 214 to a dollar. Whereas when I was in the university, as many of them were there, 1 Naira was $1.6.
Can you imagine?
But you can ask now, why are we passing through the present situation? I will tell you. One major advantage that the people in the West and the East have over us is that they are developing economy. They are producing economy. And that was what we were in the 70s. In Kaduna, we have Pidgeot. We have Leland in Ibadan. We had Amco, I think in Bauchi. We are producing our own cars. And we're asking government officers to buy Peugeot, to buy Volkswagen, to buy these things. So we're not importing them. I bought this car, 6 million, in 2022. Somebody saw it and was interested and he said he wanted to buy the same thing. It's her dream car. Can I help her to find out? I found from the that boy says 12 million. Cash, I'll deliver in 2 weeks. So he said, why should the second-hand car cost 12 million? My first car, Sheung, I finished from university, my NYC. I joined the university and I started working. I started working 1st August 1977. By 23rd September, I bought a brand new car, Tiaroba, air conditioned. I paid with the AC, with the driving, the vehicle, everything, 3,900 naira in 1977. 3,900 naira. This morning, I bought a battery into my wife's car, 90,000 naira. I went to somewhere they say it's 205. So I went to where I have been buying things before when I had a Peugeot 504. Agba, how much is your battery? Daddy, it's 95. For you, because you're my daddy, it's 100 now, it's 100. I said, because I'm your daddy, I'll pay you 90. 90,000 naira for a car battery. I bought a car, 3,400 in 1977. We are producing these things.
Exide and the rest.
All the batteries in Ibadan, in Lagos, Ugbe. So,
Daddy.
Yes.
I'm sorry to cut you short.
I will give you a copy of my autobiography at 70.
It's a great honor and privilege, sir.
I suffered because my father was there at a place called Usho.
Yes.
I suffered in the secondary school. I suffered in the university. because I didn't have enough financial support from him. He didn't have enough. So I cut grass. In the Ministry of Agriculture, they were paying me 5 shillings a day, so that I can take care of myself in secondary school. When I finished from the secondary school, I have to tell you this, only you read it in my book.
I will, yes.
I went to FTC, Prayer Training Center, Kaduna, to learn how to write shorthand and typewriting. I trained as a stenographer. In that college in Kaduna, one of the tutors said to me, Mr. Attoye, you are too much for a typewriter. When you finish from here, go and read for your A-level. I said, thank you, sir. The result came out. They posted me to Ilorin as secretary to the assistant director of prisons. Following the tip that man gave me, as soon as I got settled in 1972, I read about the syllabus for advanced level. So I look at the subjects. I bought the relevant books. Adekunle Aramolara was the popular name then. So I bought all his books. I read for my A-level. I didn't go to any school. I didn't go to any lesson. By October, November 1972, we did the exam. By May, the results came out. And I knew I was going to the university. I was earning some money as a stenographer. So in August, I withdrew my services from federal government. I came to my father, Attoye, and said, Baba, I have left work, I'm going to the university. Baba, I'm for Olori, Baki. What about this? Toro they sent to us every month. Money bedding, sir. Just 3 years. Just give me 3 years. The children that my generation have, some of my generation, not all, have a challenge. They are seeing what parents succeeded to do in 30, 40 years. They are not seeing what those parents passed through. And they want to catch up with their parents here and now. Seun, I am grateful to God I'm a Christian. So when my children were growing up, I said, I'm going to give you 3 things. Because you know how much we earn as salaries. See, I don't have much, but I'll give you the following. I'll give you the Bible. I'll give you character. I'll give you education. Bible, character, education. So they stay with me primary school, stay with me secondary school. Some of them stay with me secondary school, some of them went to